welcome back. Let's look at an example of using a while loop to handle an indefinite number of items input by a user. So we're going to do an averaging program again. I'm going to want a sum, and maybe I'll want a number of items. Okay, and I don't necessarily know how many items I'm entering to start out with. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use the keyword break to see what happens with a while loop that would otherwise be infinite. So we're going to have a while true, which will always execute. And beforehand we'll say system.println welcome to the averaging program. Enter the word quit when finished. So instead of taking an input simply dealing with integers, we're going to start by looking at strings and then parsing integers from that, or cutting out integers that we get from that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a few situations. So string in equals scan.next line. Let's just scan our next line. And let's say we have some input, and not scan, but input. Okay, so now we have some input. How are we going to handle this? Well, first, we want to see if they've quit. If in.equals, maybe equals ignore case, ignoring whether it's lowercase or uppercase, quit, break. We'll want to break out of our loop. Else, if in okay, let's say else, what we're going to do is we're going to assume that they've typed in something appropriate. We can say else sum plus equals integer.parse int from our input. Okay, so we're going to take the input, we're going to check to see if there's an integer in there, and if there is, we're going to take it out and add it to sum. So that part is not very different. But we're going to keep doing this, and when we do that, we're also going to increase the number of items. Okay, and then finally at the bottom, we'll say the average of plus items is double sum over items. And we'll reformat that. And you can see that it's very similar to what we had before. And I'll run this. And I'll say enter the word quit when finished. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to do \n there just to make it a little bit nicer formatted. Oh, and I need to let someone know that enter a number or quit. Okay, so let's run this again. Enter a number or quit. Let's say quit. What happens? The average of 0 items is not a number. We should have this be if items is greater than 0, right? If we have more than 0 items, we should print something out. Otherwise, we don't need to print anything out. So we'll run this again. I'll enter quit, and it just quits the program. If I run it again, let's say I want to enter 3. We'll enter 2. I'll enter 4, 2, -1, 5, or 4 rather, 0, -9, 0, 1, 2, 3, and let's say I'll quit. That's good enough. The average of 9 items is 14.2222, repeating. So you can see it'll add up as many items as I have. I don't even need to know how many I have. It'll count them for me and then average them. Notice though I haven't handled input that's not integer based, and the reason for this is we don't yet really know how, and I don't want to get into this particularly right now. Because if the string doesn't contain a parsable integer, it throws an exception, and then we have to handle that exception. So for now, we've just made a program that continues unless they enter quit, in which case it breaks, and then it prints out output if relevant. If there are no items, then we don't want to print the output. But again, an example of if statements, else statements, while loops, and input taking. Okay, and if I were doing things properly, at the very end, I'd do a input.close. I'd close my scanner, and then my warning goes away. Okay, for now, that's all. Next video will be about for loops.